In this one, Canterbury cricketer Cam Fletcher gives a wicket-keeping masterclass for keepers of all levels. Let's go. Before a day's play, you're just warming up as a keeper. What kind of things are you generally working on before you dive into the day's play?
Yeah, I guess for me at the start, just trying to get my body moving. So we always start off with a bit of a warm-up, just opening up my hips, things like that to allow me, obviously, when I'm up to the wickets and I'm standing back, just trying to move laterally as much as I can and open up for when I'm up to the wickets, being able to rotate my body for when the ball's rising and things like that. So I always start off with a bit of a warm-up. And then from there, generally speaking, I'll just see what the bowlers are doing. So I'll try and keep to the bowlers as much as I can, because just seeing the, I guess, the changes in the environments and things like that, and how the ball's reacting off the wickets, or off the block in this case. So yeah, that's kind of where I aim to start with. And then I might do a few basic things around. I might do, I guess, a little bit off the catch-up board. I might do some off the face, just to start. And then we normally go off with the coach, do a few knickers, things like that, just to get myself going at the start. And then I'll just make an assessment depending on whether we're batting or bowling around what I do from there.
In terms of like standing up to a spinner, does it differentiate in terms of your stance in comparison to catching to a quick?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of things that I kind of try and do when I'm standing up to the stump. So I mean, the main thing is just trying to stay as low as possible. I think I found, especially on these like kind of warm-up wickets, they're a little bit lower. So I'm just trying to get myself as low as possible, and then be able to be as loose as I can be, and able to come up with the rise of the bounce. There's the ball every now and then that pops up, so if I can be as light and loose in my arms as possible to be able to rise with that, that's what I try to do. So I start off with trying to stay as low as possible, and then the main thing obviously is just watching the ball. I think that's the biggest thing, watching the ball, but then just being able to be as loose as you can to be able to react, and then just mainly thinking about doing a bit of brilliance. So whether that's a leg side take, or whether that's just a little nick or something like that, just always being prepared for those things.
In terms of balance, whether you're standing up or back to a quick, is it all about having balance so you can like go both ways?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my main focus is generally on just trying to keep my weight forward a little bit, and that starts with kind of keeping myself nice and low. So that obviously that can vary depending on the wicket, depending on the bounce of the wicket. If it's a bit more of a bouncy wicket, I might just start a little bit higher. Know that I can go down from around my knee height if I need to, but then might have to rise. But if it's a low wicket, then I'll try and focus on keeping my weight forward as much as possible. Because as soon as you start going from that position and going back, then you're nice and hard, and that's not really what you want to be. So just trying to be as loose as I can when I'm up to the stumps, coming up, almost like lifting up a little bit with my butt first, and then it allows me to keep my weight forward. And normally getting yourself in trouble when you do come up on your heels. So that's something, just being on my toes, keeping my weight forward, just nice and simple like that. That allows me to have that balance.
In terms of the way you catch the ball, do you have ways? Is it up, down? Do you have any preferences?
I think generally speaking, if I'm standing up to the wickets, I'll have my fingers pointing down to the ground. And then I guess I ride across the ground, so whether that's down the leg side, through there, offside, through there. But then obviously when I go back, that's where maybe if the ball's moving a bit more, I might try and drop down a little bit lower to rise with the ball, fingers pointing up.
And last one, what's your best tip for a young keeper?
I think the most important thing is to watch the ball. That's the obvious thing. Watch the ball and watch it all the way into your gloves. I think sometimes we can watch it to about this distance and then we kind of back off a little bit. So just trying to watch it all the way in. Having wider targets as possible when you're catching the ball, and then just keeping your head in line. So there are three things that I'd focus on as number one when you're training. And then from there on, you can worry about things like footwork and things as the training progresses.